And welcome to another show. Don't get this twisted. I am Rob, along with my co-host, as always, Tina. How you doing, Tina?
Hanging in there, Rob. How you doing?
Oh, absolutely pleasant today. Can't complain too much.
I get ya.
And not like it really matters. Even if we do complain, no one cares. At least not on my side. I complain all the time, and my kid just kind of walks past me. I'm like, okay. At least I can vent to him.
Yeah, I quit complaining. Nobody wants to hear it. I don't even want to hear it.
Even in your own head, right? You don't even want to hear it in your own head.
Can we talk about something fun, please? Because I don't want to hear it. And it's my shit.
Yeah, exactly. It's your own head going, stop talking to me about this stuff. Yes. Nah, I totally agree with that. As always, hit the socials, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, that kind of stuff. And make sure to go everywhere you can hear our podcasts, Apple, Google, Amazon, all that fun stuff. Oh, Spotify. And make sure that you hit the little subscribe button or follow or whatever it is so we pop up every Wednesday.
And thank you for doing so.
Yes, thank you for doing so. It's been a pleasure these past couple of months. People have definitely been listening all over the world again. We had someone from Canada yesterday.
Nice.
Canada, I think we have like almost every province in Canada now, like all the way across the provinces. It's pretty wild when you start thinking of it that way.
That's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
So how you been doing these past couple weeks? Everything
doing
good?
A lot of traveling.
I know, you're lucky.
Yeah. This is the month where I make up for lost time, and I'm keeping a suitcase half packed and all my toiletries packed up. So it's like that right now, and I'm really enjoying it.
That is kind of cool though that you have been traveling more than you had over the last year.
Yeah. Oh, by far.
Yeah, like
it's getting back to normal to where I feel like I can go somewhere, or my friends want to go somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, that's a big deal. That's changed.
It's awesome, actually.
I was trying to get people to travel when, COVID had us semi-locked down and nobody would go. So this is much better.
It's funny how quickly that changed, though. Like once I think people got the bug or the like, okay, I'm over this. People like stop that shit. They were like, let's do whatever we can as much as we can. So
I think some people did, but my friends were pretty cautious. They waited. Like we go to Big Bear. We haven't done that in 3 years. So we're going to we're going at the end of the month, but this is the first time this will be the 4th year since that we haven't done it, or that it's starting up again.
Yeah, it's kind of nice. I'm glad things are definitely moving along, because we need that. And speaking of moving along, we came up with an idea for today, because it's actually someone was actually talking to me about this at work the other day, and about like how back in the day it was like, look ahead 5 years. Like, where do you see yourself in 5 years? And I think that, young people or younger people probably should have some kind of vision for 5 years ahead. But do you think modern people are doing that? I don't even think young people do that anymore. And obviously when you get to our age, I mean, 5 years, it's like, I don't think I think ahead that far. Not
5
anymore.
years, really, if you look at it lately, it's gone by in a blip. It's gone by so quickly that I don't, and where I was 5 years ago, I couldn't have thought I'd be here at 5 years later.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. I totally agree with that. My headspace 5 years ago was totally different.
Oh yeah. And part of it, again, I hate saying the word, but part of it was COVID that changed our opinions on a lot of things, from politics to the world we live in to how we're going to, stay alive at times because of the way that they made everything out. So the things that I think about are way different than they were 5 years ago. 5 years ago, it was kind of a fun time doing a lot of traveling, hanging out. There were some issues with my marriage for sure, but that's not even happening now. So everything that I ever had going on in my life is now different. So planning right now would be a little difficult, but I am planning.
Yeah, I think that there's things to look forward to, but I don't think that I should be like, I need to be here 5 years from now.
Yeah,
it's
no.
Like, I don't think so. I can't live like that anymore. I don't think that it's healthy. As a younger person, you should have a vision, maybe. Like, it would be cool to be here 5 years from now. Like, let's say you're 20, like my kid, he's 20 years old. 5 years from now, he'll be, he's almost 21. So he'll be 25. Let's say he's 25 years old. He should have a vision of where he wants to be. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, I want to be on my own, or I want to be here. I want to be doing this. And there should be a goal, but I don't think that there should be like this anchor attached to that 5-year mark. And in 5 years, if you don't make it, you've lost all hope. It's like, okay, no, you can't do that. And I think in our case, 5 years from now could be totally different, because we're at a different time in our life where, yeah, you want to travel all over the place, or you want to move. You decide, I want to live in Northern California just for shits and giggles. And in your case, even more, because you have a job that you can uproot. You can go do your shit literally anywhere in this country.
And because of COVID, I'm not making the money I used to. So it's not about job security. It really isn't. Not these days.
Right. And I think that, I'm sorry, go.
I'm sorry. Not that I'm even complaining, because I think that with everything that had to change, I like my job better, because I got rid of a lot of things that were kind of pissing me off about it. A lot of things. I mean, I got rid of a lot of people is what I did.
Right.
Or a lot of people left. I didn't even have to get rid of them.
Right. Because I think the way people thought, of being locked in a room with somebody for a long period of time changed things. Mm-hmm. But I also think, in your case, Southern California is a whole nother issue with what you do. There's a lot of places to go. Mm-hmm. So if you find someone good, you keep going back. I mean, and I think that that's men and women. If a guy finds a good barber down the street, he'll go there till the guy dies.
Well, I think that's everywhere, though.
Yeah. But I think there's a lot here. So let's say you moved to a small town, like let's say Texas, just for shits. And I mean a small town, like outside of a town. So like outside of a bigger town like San Antonio. But you moved to a smaller town outside of there. Mm-hmm. There's probably not a lot of hair shops there. So your clientele might be more, but you'll be charging less, right? Because supply and demand.
No, I wouldn't.
No, but you know what I mean, though. Like,
I would do is go in there, charge what I charge, not have all the people rushing in, and work smarter, not harder.
That's true, but I mean, you might not be able to do the same type of business because people in that town are used to paying a certain amount. What I'm trying to say is, though, is that you might find great clientele there and be able to live where they're paying a good amount of money. Mm-hmm. What I'm saying is that it's a livable wage, it's a better place to live, whatever you're looking for. Probably doing less work than here or the same, but living a different life where you're, you can go out with your friends on the little boat on the river or on the lake and do things, where here it's super stressful with making that same amount of money. Plus there's a million shops here. Mm-hmm. I just think that you could travel anywhere and do this. So your 5-year plan might be something way different than mine.
Yeah. My 5-year plan is live in Greece and cut some hairy greasy.
Yeah, shave men's chests
and their backs.
Yeah, and their backs.
Or wax. I mean, I could do that too.
That's good. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. When somebody asks me what my plan is, I say something stupid like that because I really don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah. I mean, and again, what I do as well, I'm in sales. So, I mean, like I tell people all the time, they're like, what do you sell? And I go, it doesn't matter. It's a widget. Like it's all it is to me. Like I know what I'm doing, and I've been in, like, I could go do alarms or do alarm sales pretty much anywhere in the country. So, I mean, I'm really kind of in the same place as you. Like I could really go anywhere.
Yeah.
Because I know I've been doing alarms for way too long. So I could probably do the same thing. And again, my livable wage in another state will be close to what I'm doing because the cost of living there is different.
Mm-hmm.
So my 5-year plan is a little less. I mean, do I have some kind of plan? I think we all have some kind of plan. Like, you know, I would like to be here in 5 years, but I don't have something that's so locked down that it's going to kill me. Yeah. Like, I'd love to leave the state. But I want to make sure that everything else is in check before I do said things. I love this place. I love California. I mean, for as much as people, you know, for as much as I hate it, I love it because there's great things here with lots of good people. But there's other things that just make me want to strangle people, like getting on the freeway to go to LA at any time. Anytime.
I get that.
So like, those are the things that just stress me out. It's like, and thankfully I don't do that much anymore. I don't travel that way unless I really, really have to. Mm-hmm. You know, I lived in Ventura County before, and as much as it's mellow there, you know, in the summertime, try taking the 101 towards Santa Barbara on a Saturday morning.
Yeah, forget it.
It's insane because everyone's going to the beach. Mm-hmm. Everyone's going to Santa Barbara. Everyone's going this direction. So it's just like, for goodness sake. So the traffic part, you know, when I went and visited my friend in North Carolina, or like probably when you go to Texas and see your friends, you realize that like traffic to them is humorous.
Yeah.
They're like, it's
we talk
so
about that a
busy.
lot.
It's like, no, it's not. Like, look, everyone's moving. This isn't traffic. It's just,
you know, I guess because we've been doing it for so many years, my friends know the traffic situation here and they know what I go through just to pick them up at the airport. And so they always say, man, I hate traffic at this hour, but it's nothing like where you live. So
that's right.
You know, but they always give me the kudos, like, and I'm like, I work 10 minutes by street, you know, from where I live. I'm not hitting a lot of traffic, but to go pick them up, I would, or to go to see you, I do. Or, you know, I took my niece to Knott's Berry Farm and we came home in bumper to bumper traffic for the whole 2 hours of our 45-minute trip.
Exactly.
So, yeah, it is different. It is.
Yeah, it's just a different way of living. So for me, it's that those are the things that I try to put into my whatever my little 5-year plan is. Like, I want to be in a place where I'm not as stressed out into my 60s. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if I want to be bearing down on the streets and freeways of California. I just don't know, but I definitely think that it's not as important for me to go, I need to be here in 5 years. Mm-hmm. I don't believe that anymore. For one, you can't. I mean, life's short. I mean, and you may take a U-turn. Like, that's why I keep telling people.
U-turns. I love them.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, because like for me, it's like my plan is not to be here at some point. But
be here physically, or be here in California, or what do you?
Not here.
Be here
in California.
Like, okay. Yeah. Okay.
I plan on being here physically in 5 years.
Just checking. I don't know anymore.
No. I mean, my plan is to be here as long as I can, as long as I'm healthy. I mean, obviously, you know, I don't want to be wheelchair bound. You know, that would, like, I'm too up and going. Like, if I lost like my hands or my eyes, I wouldn't want to be here anymore, because I'm visual and I do things that are like photography and that kind of thing. And I need my hands, so like things like that. But
I think about stuff like that because my hands in my job are everything. But then I have a friend that's blind and she's an artist and she's a way better artist than I've ever could have considered being. She could paint like a maniac, blind.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that as much as I would say, yeah, I wouldn't want to live like that, I think that life puts struggles in front of you and you have to find a way to make your way. And so when I see her, I'm like, yeah, I totally wouldn't want to be blind, but
yeah,
it could be worse.
It could be. You could not be here.
Yeah. I think cancer for me is the one thing I'd be like, oh, fuck, just let me go. Like,
yeah.
I'm not doing this.
And I guess it all matters what age.
Yeah. I think at any age, if I got cancer, I'd be like, I'm just going to ride this wave, guys. So I'm not living much longer. Let's just have fun and do what we got to do to minimize the pain. And I'm out.
Yeah. It's like, let's shoot heroin.
No, I don't mean that. I mean, if we're going to do it, let's be alive for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you think that it's that the younger generation, and I mean like young people, like in their 20s, do you think young people now think about 5 years later?
I wonder about that because they don't even drive. So what are they?
That is a good point.
You can't get anywhere on your own if you don't drive here in Southern California. So I wonder, like, do they even think about like past their parents not taking care of them? I don't think that they do. And that's not true because I do know kids that are looking and they're like on it and they're just trying to do their hustle to be where they want to be. So there are kids like that, but the good majority are just cool sitting back, letting somebody else take care of them. And I say that because I do a lot of kids' hair, younger people's hair, and man, they have no ambition, no drive. I mean, they'll go to school because that's what they're supposed to do or that's what they're told to do. But outside of that, I don't know that they have any plans.
Yeah. I mean, it's so funny, too, because I think you're right. A lot of younger kids aren't driving. And maybe that's the Uber nonsense in their head until they get a car. Because like my kid it's not that he fought it because he had a car. I had an extra car. Because my dad gave me a car really cheap. So I bought it from him for almost nothing. Right. So I had a car for him. And at 16, I didn't push him, but I'm like, hey, dude, you want to get it? Like, no. All right. So there it sat. And then 17, I was like, hey, dude, like, you want to get a car or what? Because like, I think it's important.
Yeah.
And he didn't fight it, but he was like, yeah, I want to learn. And then I started taking him around where we lived at the time and just kind of letting him drive in parking lots because he ended up getting his permit. And then once I moved, he had turned 18. He didn't want to have to, because I get, besides when we were young, I guess if you're under 18, you have to have a provisionary license for 6 months. So you can't have anybody in your car or nothing. If you're 18 years old, they're like, whatever.
Yeah.
So he waited literally till his 18th birthday. He's like, okay, let's go. Because he didn't want to have any kind of restrictions, which is kind of smart. Well, I mean,
well, he was restricted for 2 extra years not having his license, though.
True. But I think, and I hate to say it, but I think
he wasn't ready for it.
He probably wasn't ready for it.
Yeah.
I mean,
see, my daughter, she told me, she was like me. I want to drive as soon as I can. Can I drive? Can I drive? And I had to come up with the strength to sit in the driver's seat and let her and let her try. But when she got her provisional, not her provisional, she got her permit. We went to El Paso, and I said, "Guess who's driving to El Paso?" You got to learn how to drive a straight line. Let's do that. So yeah, I stuck her in the freeway on the 10 and she drove for like 8 hours straight. And she wanted, after that, she was good. The only thing I worried about was she liked to go real close to the tires of the big rigs that were next to us. And I was
no.
please stay in your own lane.
You know, it's funny. My kid had that problem too of like drifting far on the passenger side. Because I think he was trying to look at the line and and I kept telling him, because I would be behind him because we would drive. I'd let him drive his car and I'd kind of drive behind him. And I kept telling him, he's like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. So I videoed it with my phone.
Yeah.
And then when we got someplace, I said, this is what you're doing. I said, but now, he's a great driver now, but he's been driving for 2 years. So like he's a great driver. Oh yeah. He's a good driver. But like we were talking about the freedom of that. Like once he got a car and realized what freedom he had, I never saw him. Like, gotta go.
That was me. I was like, please just let me wake up early enough to do everything I got to do tomorrow.
Yeah. So I think that mentality changes once you get that freedom. Because he was pushing a friend of his, and as a matter of fact, I think his friend's 20, and I think he just got his license not too long ago.
Wow.
Yeah, and he kept pushing him like, dude, what are you waiting for? And I'm not even sure if he does or not. I think he does, but I was like, dude, what's up with your boy? And he's like, I don't know, man. I was like, doesn't he understand? He's like, no, he didn't get it. So, you know, maybe 5-year plans for young people really aren't in that vision anymore. I think maybe, you know, late 20s, early 30s, probably the 5-year plan is kind of real. Because I think that once you get there, you're looking to build a family or, you know, buy a house, do the more bigger life things. So I would say probably by the time you're 26, the 5-year plan is probably very, very prominent in that age group. Because it should be. You should be kind of having a trajectory. But like I said, I don't think that it should be so prominent, you know, for us. I think if you're in your 40s and you're like, I need a 5-year plan, it's like, no, you don't. You need a vision for what's going to happen next year.
Yeah.
Like, hey, what am I doing next year?
There's definitely goals. I have a list of things that need to be accomplished in the next 5 years just to get me back to where I want to be as a person.
Yeah, but, but do you think that's a 5-year divorce goal, like after divorce goal? Because I had that.
Yeah.
Because after I got
that's still
divorced,
a 5-year plan, though.
No, but that's due to something.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, it's like I had to have some. I mean, you have short-term goals and long-term goals after a divorce, I think. Like, I got to do this, this, and this to get my shit straight. And then I kind of want to be here in 5 years. Now, here's my thing. I still haven't done the things that I wanted to do. I did a lot of
because I feel like I'm doing everything that I wanted to do.
I can't say that. But you know, nah. But I hit some financial issues as well, you know. So, but I changed like over. Let's see. I've been here, but over the last 5 years, I've lived way differently than I had before.
Yeah.
So, you know, I push myself to do different things and obviously make more money and put myself in a better financial place. I got rattled one time by somebody that I wasn't dating them, but I remember her saying like, you know, you're in this place right now. Cause obviously I was living with somebody and I was just a roommate renting rooms. And it was more like, don't you want to like do your own shit? And like, you're never going to date anybody being a roommate of a girl. And I was like, yeah, you're kind of right. Like who's going to want to date me if I'm renting rooms from somebody, you know, and a female at that. And obviously when you start talking about being in a relationship with somebody, you know, and I hate to say that most women think this, but you do have to make a certain amount of money for some people. So I think that I didn't have a goal, but I definitely pushed myself to be a better person. But it was a year to year thing.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't go, I have to be making this amount of money in 5 years. I was like, nah, because I've really never lived like that. I think that that's just a crazy way to live. You know, personal goals of being happy should be your 5-year plan.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to be happy in 5 years. I don't want to be, you know, struggling or stressed, but I don't think that there should be like, I need to be in Texas in 5 years. I want to.
No,
like,
you know, everybody that knows me is like waiting for me to move to El Paso with all my friends, because I have a huge family there that's not family,
sense.
but they're my family. But I'm also the 11th generation born and raised here in Southern California. And this is my home, and my people don't go anywhere. So
right.
The expectation is you're going to stay here with your family. I mean, many people have moved and they come back or they don't. But I don't know, for us, it was like, you stay here and you make it work. This is your place. Even though it's getting overpopulated, this is still where your people are from. So I would like to say that I was brave enough to move. And maybe once my dad's gone, I might. But my brother and I are so close, and the kids are, you know, really close. I don't know. I just don't know. But at the point where my dad's gone, I could definitely see something happening. But I don't know that I would before that.
Yeah. No, I get that. I think there's a lot to that as well. It's like, I have no family here anymore.
Yeah.
All my family's gone. You know.
Yeah.
Dad lives in South Dakota. Mom and brother moved to Idaho. My mom just passed away. So I'm thinking of like I'm not grounded here anymore.
Mm-hmm.
But I do love it here because this is home. And I think there is something to that as well. Like,
yeah.
I mean, I did 2 years in Vegas, and I remember
did 2 years like it was a sentence.
It was like prison time.
Right.
I actually liked Vegas. I can't really say a lot of bad things about Vegas. The only bad thing I can say about Vegas was my son was young and I didn't know a lot of people. Mm-hmm. So like, I didn't really go out a lot because my kid was like 6 years old or 7 years old. So those were hard years because I didn't know a lot of people to babysit and things. And so, but I enjoyed it. But I remember coming back here, you know, once or twice a month because of, you know, letting him see mom. Mm-hmm. But I remember driving one time and being on the freeway and making it like right off the 15 and the 210 where, you know, California starts being California again.
Yeah.
And I kind of remember going through, and I went through like Rancho Cucamonga and Claremont and then Pasadena, like those areas. And then I remember it just being so green. And I was like, oh shit, I'm in California again, where it's not just a orange desert. Mm-hmm. So those were the things that kind of pushed me back. I was just like, so when things kind of fell apart in 2009, that's when, you know, housing market, job market took a shit.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, if I'm going to go, I have to do it now where I have some money saved up and I can actually find a place in California. I think now the problem is that once you leave here, you don't come back because it's hard. It's so expensive to come back to California.
Yeah.
You would have to have a lot of money saved up in whatever state you're in to come back here. Cause you know, rent's $2,600 a month for a fucking apartment. So you'd have to have that plus the down payment. So there's like $5,000 alone just to move here. So, and that's not counting the moving part of a truck and all that crazy shit. So, you know, your 5-year plan, if you're leaving here, is what am I going to do 5 years from now if it doesn't work out? I think that would be your thing. Because coming back to California, with the exception of maybe moving to Arizona or Vegas or Nevada, where you're close and the moving cost of driving isn't bad. Right. It's like, okay, it's 6 hours away if you're in Arizona or 7 hours, whatever the hell it is, if you're in like the Phoenix area. And if you're in Nevada, it's like 5 hours, right? 5 or however many hours it is. So that's something that's probably good. But if you leave anything, I think outside of there, you're really kind of pushing the boundaries of coming back to the state. So that
unless you're someone that like me that has allowed everybody to live with them.
Yeah.
And if I leave and want to come back, somebody better put me up.
Right. No, that's probably true.
Payback's a bitch here.
for me, I could probably do it because I know a couple of people, but like even my better friends, because I think at this age, if you're moving back, it's not like you can just go, like my friends are married. You know what I mean? Like you can't just go move in with now a wife because that shit doesn't fly very long either. Mm-hmm. So, you have to be able to come live in someone's house for a month and then gotta go because I got my shit together.
Right.
So I think that's the thing. So,
well, that would be the way you'd want it to go. You don't want to get stuck with somebody living with you for 20 years, Well,
yeah. And but like I'm saying, it's a hard phone call to make and say, hey, dude, or hey, miss, I need to come. Can I sleep on your couch for a month just till I get my shit together? So those are the hard
wish everybody
things.
thought it was that hard because then maybe I wouldn't have taken in so many.
Yeah. I mean, when I came back here, I stayed with my best friend for a month. Which was probably one of the best months I've ever had in my life. So I can't complain about that. It was super awesome. I mean, me and him had a hell of a run for 30 days. Like it was great. And it was cool because like he was single still. And, obviously I came back and my boy was living with mom because he had to finish school out here until I got a place to live. Mm-hmm. So it was great 30 days. And then after that, I stayed with my dad for 30 days. Which was great because I mended a fence that needed mending, which was really good because I was in my 40s and, I was a different human than when I left my house.
Yes.
So that was great. And then obviously I moved in with a roommate for a long time. I think I was there like 8 years.
Really?
Yeah. I was in Camarillo. I want to say it was 8, almost 9. I'd have to look. I think I moved back here in 2012. So, yeah, it was crazy. But those 30 days were easy when you knew you had to leave. Like I didn't have any choice. I had no choice with my best friend because he had things happening. He goes, you can stay until here, but you got to go. My dad probably would have let me stay as long as I wanted. I mean, if we're being truthful, because I didn't have my kid at the time. But that was coming up. So like I didn't have any 5-year plans even from there, but my 5-year plan was to make sure that my kid was in school and could graduate. Like I didn't really have, I didn't plan on staying in Camarillo for 8 years. I didn't plan on staying, a roommate with somebody for that long. It was just easy. And I had it and I had it good. I had cheap ass rent, like cheap rent. So like, I was doing all right. Like, so when I finally moved, it was a wake up call for like having to make more money, obviously. But it was also the wake up call of like freedom. Like I told you before, the first day that I lived where I live now, I sat on the couch in my underwear and I walked through my apartment in my underwear, just purposely. I purposely did it because I generally, I'm not that kind of guy where I do that, but I did it that first night here. I was just like, and
that's a plan for me to be in a place where I could walk around naked. If I need to.
No,
like that's home. That's where you're home.
Yeah. So see, there is small 5-year plans. There's one of them to be able to have a place because there's something about that to where you're just it's freedom, and so, but those are the things where, they're simple pleasures. And I think that as an older person, I would say once you're in your 40s, your 5-year plan, if you even have one, should be, very small at this point, at least for me. I can't even tell you that I have one. I don't have a 5-year plan. Not anymore. It's get through like I said, get through the day is generally what happens to me now. And I barely have a 5-day plan.
I was going to say, I plan about a week ahead, and that's about it.
Well, and I think that it's a safe thing. I mean, look, 30 days ahead, if you're vacationing, is awesome. Or if you plan, a summer trip, great. That's something to look forward to. But I don't think that those are life-changing things.
No.
Like I said, I don't want to live 5 years in the future. I think that's just crazy to me. Because who knows if you're going to make it 5 years. And I know that's a morbid way of looking at it, but that's the truth. And I think,
again, we're back to that though, Rob. I mean,
no, but only because of friends that I've lost early in life, like 40-year-olds having heart attacks.
Yeah, but you got to look at the way they're living their lives too.
No, true. But I just think that it's, those are the things that should be wake up calls to live for the now and not for the future.
Oh, yes, absolutely. For sure.
Yeah. And like I said, I'm not trying to be morbid of that way. Just, I think that living in the now is a more realistic thing to live for. Like you can't worry about, like, I don't know, like kids. Like do I want my kid to succeed? Of course. I mean, to say that you don't is crazy. Like everyone wants that. But I also can't live for him. Like you can't. You have to have your own life, and whatever that life is. Do I want my child in my life? Of course, but I'm not going to bend at the knee to make sure that he's happy, because he has to make his own happiness.
Absolutely.
And I've seen it time and time again in many, many people who live for that. It's like, and even my dad, to a degree, was thinking about it before he left here. My stepmom came to me and was like, he really doesn't want to leave the state because of you. And I was like, I'm 40 something years old. Like he's done his job. Like he's done great. Go retire, be happy somewhere.
My dad does not want to go. He will not go either.
Yeah. So for me, it's like, and I kind of saw it in things like that. It's like, no, like you have to be looking out for you, whether it's the short term or the long term. Because look, I want my kid to go off and be happy, go find whatever it is you're doing in life, whatever that is. Awesome. Mm-hmm. I'll always be here for him, but I also can't worry about him, I hate to say being a deterrent, but that's not what I mean. Look, he has to live his own life, and so do I. And I shouldn't worry about what he thinks, and he shouldn't worry about what I think. If he goes and finds a girl to be with and I don't like her, none of my business. It's just not. He shouldn't live for me. He shouldn't be like, well, my dad is kind of not hip on you, so I don't think we should date. That's fucking crazy talk. And it's no different than if I meet somebody and my kid's like, I really don't care much for her. It's like, that's, sorry. I do. So those are things to live for. And whether it's 2 months, 3 years, or 5 years, you need to live for you. Mm-hmm. And I've been living for me for a long time. Like if I meet somebody, do I want my kid to like them? Of course. Because that's the life we live in. I think we all want people to like the people we like, whether they're friends or boyfriends or girlfriends, whatever it is.
Yeah. I didn't like anybody that my dad was dating since my mom has passed, but I wouldn't tell him that.
No.
Never. It's none of my business.
I found out about people who didn't like my ex-wife after I was divorced.
I was one of them, but I think I told you before.
Yeah, my mom, and again, not to say anything bad about the dead or about my ex-wife because
you didn't feel that way the way we felt. No.
Well, and not only that,
relationship.
I also looked at things differently from a totally different point of view. Like I can't even say anything bad about her now, and I know way more things. Just look, life happens; it just does. And at the time, it was that we both needed that, whatever that was, right? And I got a good kid out of it. So it's hard to shit on it. But on the flip side, they kept their mouth shut because it wasn't for them.
Because they should.
Well, and because I think a lot of it, and a lot of that came from my dad and my mom, dating younger people.
Yeah.
Like they both came to me with my dad was like, oh, she's 20 years younger. I was like, I don't care. You happy? But I also told both of them, don't ever say shit about anyone I date ever. Ever.
Yeah. I don't ever tell my dad that. And he does tell me what he thinks. And yeah, he tells me, but then I'm like, well, okay. I don't know what to tell you because at my age, there is nothing to say. I'm not 16. I'm not, life is different. So we just don't, he's really good to not talk about things anyway. So we just don't go over that,
Right. I kind of looked at it the same way with I told my mom a lot of things about a lot of people. And whether she had something to say about it or not, she generally kept it to herself.
Yeah.
Because she knew. Well, she also knew that I, like her, had a very, I could have a firecracker that would go off sometimes and I would just not give a shit and say crazy shit. I told you the time she moved my furniture. Oh, I came home. This was, when I lived over there in Northridge and I had a condo. My mom was in town and she was staying with me. I was like, whatever, Mom. And my mom liked to clean the house. She was a clean freak.
I love people like that.
Oh no, she was good at it. Did I ever tell you the story where she cleaned my apartment when I lived with my dad? So she would come to pick me up and my dad was like, if you want to come down here, you can stay in the apartment. It's okay. Just because to stay all day. Well, she ended up taking the curtains off the apartment and washing them and shrinking them. Yeah. My dad had a conniption fit. It was great. Anyway, I came home. I came home from work one day and I walk in the house. For one, it smelled like my mom loved to mix like Clorox and bleach, like fucking making cyanide in the house. And she was like, she moved my whole living room furniture, all of it, like moved the TV, all crazy shit. And I walk in, I was like, what are you doing? She's like, well, I thought it looked better this way. You don't live here. Move that shit back. And that's what she did. She moved it back the next day. But like
my mom used to come in, like when everybody was there, she would come into the house and she would like start taking dust bunnies off the walls or doing I'm like, Mom, do you have to do that shit like right now? Like really right now? Like you want to get the broom? It's Easter Sunday and you're cleaning cobwebs that you found in the back part of the house that we don't even really go into. That was embarrassing. I told her, don't do that shit when everybody's there.
That would be my mom.
And she didn't give a crap. Like she was like, well, next time don't have them to where I want to clean them. That was her answer.
Jesus Christ. Yeah. That
or again, she put this pig ornament type thing on our front porch that said, welcome to our something. I don't remember what it said. She always had that country shit. And she put it there and I said, I don't want that there. She goes, well, I gave it to you, so you got to keep it. So my ex came home and saw that and he goes, yeah, no, that's not staying on our porch. And I was like, thank you. Somebody that's on my side. Because she would push her way around all the time. Right. And we just let her because it was so much easier than dealing with that shit.
Yeah. No, I that was kind of my mom as well. Like we just kind of let it go. Like, so although I did think I was going to find her in a bathtub with, full of fucking Comet and bleach.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny too, because my friend down the street from here, I told her about that one time. She goes, I mix that shit all the time. I was like, are you out of your goddamn mind?
You know,
That
we
shit's
used
deadly.
to have to. I would come home and my mom would say, I have a headache. And I'm like, well, of course you do. And have to open up everything because she had too much cleaning products around.
Yeah.
There was no plan for that either.
No 5-year plan for that.
No 5-year plan, but it was going to be clean.
Yeah, geez. And it's kind of funny too, because I think that I look at like my parents when it comes to like 5-year plans. Dad probably had one. My mom did not live on any 5-year plan. Not one. Not even close. My mom lived on the seat of her pants where would change course in a second. So I think I'm a mixture of both of them where like, I have something, but it's not set in stone. My dad was like, I want to do this and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this. So
I think I'm more like that. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
I do have, my book is going to be done. It will be done and published in 5 years. I will be in my own space. I will have my build out done in 5 years. I'm hoping to be flipping houses still in 5 years. So there's things for me that 5 years is, my motorcycle, that shit better come soon because I'm losing patience with that. But,
so do you think, because we're gearing up here on our time period that we usually do. So 5-year plans, do you think they're important as they were maybe people in the 80s and 90s? Because I think that's when it was like the big thing.
I think they're important if people want to have goals, if they want to set goals and they want to make stuff happen. I think it's good to have that plan set. But if you're in a place where your goal is to, I have a house, I'm married, I got the kids, I just want to enjoy the kids, that's also a 5-year plan. It's just not making a plan to change. So I think it's good.
I think they have benefits, but you don't have to live your life that way.
Yeah.
No matter what age you are. Because like I said, my 5-year plan now is get to Friday. Just get to every Friday so you can enjoy a couple of days off from work and enjoy life as much as you can. Because it can be a headache and it can be hardship, but it could also be pretty cool.
Yeah. For me right now, it was a month. I remember the beginning of March. I'm like, okay, birthday month. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this. Oh, and somewhere in the middle, I have to figure out when I'm going to work and just stacked my work so that I could spend the month traveling. So I had a month plan and I'm successfully halfway through it. So I think plans are good.
Yeah. Maybe we should all live that way.
It's
30
fun.
days, 30 days ahead.
30 days ahead.
If you can see where you're at 30 days ahead and see maybe what's the next 30 days is going to bring, probably a much better way to live.
Yeah.
Because 5 years, no. But, live day to day. At least that's what I do. But, maybe I'll do your 30-day plan.
Make plans.
Yeah. But
and make it happen.
Maybe I think that 30 days is good because you never know what's going to happen in 30 days. You just don't.
Well, nobody knows what's going to happen 5 minutes from now, but you have to have a map of what you want to do, what you want to, who you want to see. That's important to me. Making, for me, just having the connections. I needed to make that happen because I didn't have them in so long, and I'm definitely a people person. So the 30 days was all the people that asked to see me for my birthday. And so we made it happen. 30 days is good. And we'll take it. Once April comes, I don't have any plans, so we'll see what happens then.
Mm-hmm. Well, come April, I'll come out with it. We need to do Chi-Chi's. We've been dodging Chi-Chi's and doing breakfasts. We need to.
Yeah.
You need to tell your clique of making things that you're going to have to skip on a Saturday.
Saturday's not a problem. Sunday's basket weaving.
Yeah. You're going to have to tell them Chi-Chi's more important.
Okay, we'll plan it.
Although I can come out on a Saturday, so it's not a big deal.
We can plan. We'll plan around it.
Sounds good. All right. Well, for this week, we're going to be done. It's been a pleasure as always.
Yes.
Make sure to check out all those cool social media platforms that we are on, and Facebook and Instagram, and share this podcast with friends and family all over the world. Spotify, Amazon, Google, Apple, iHeartRadio, and so many more. For goodness sakes, there's so many places to listen to podcasts now.
Nice.
Anything else to say there, Miss Tina, for this week?
Just thank you for listening. And we'll be back next week.
Thank you for listening. Hey, and this is an opinion show, so don't get it twisted. Make sure you come here every Wednesday. And I'm going to go let my dog out. And you should probably let your kitty out.
My cat's sleeping. She's fine.
Oh, that's
Let
creepy.
my kitty out dirty.
Too much. You guys, we'll see you next week.
Bye.